A 14-12 goes the way of YFP, and we thought the Mrs. Millionaires were gonna get away with that map win in Abyss. But, I mean, they had a couple of chances. Athena, they were almost making it happen, and it would just slip through their fingers.
I mean, earlier I talked about how I expected this Abyss map to go YFP's way, but Mesos, they really showed us that they had so much more under their belt. They showed us that they were a lot more polished than what they were previously. And now, YFP, they just brought that back. It was such a close game for both of these teams. At YFP at the end there, they just started popping off. Yeah, so when it came to both of these teams, I think Baby Babe just like kind of muted.
Hello?
He doesn't want to talk
Did you hear
about
me
it.
now?
It's not that serious.
All good.
But are you back? Are you back?
Am I back? I hope I'm back. So what I was saying is, if you're YFP, you have a sigh of relief right now, because honestly, it kind of felt like it got stolen away. And this almost ace at the end there, just anchoring the A site, was ridiculous. But yeah, it felt like MESO, they were in control of that attacking side, and Animal had such a good game in terms of mid-rounding and also the lurk timings that she was able to find, but it just wasn't enough. The clutch individual skill of YFP was just too much.
Yeah, we saw Marceline start to pop off, especially with that jet op towards the end. But these stats speak for themselves. Melia, 28 and 13, as well as Starlight on the Sova and Havipti. You can see all these scorelines. They're actually so close, and most of them are positive. So it just came down to a lot of these mini plays, a lot of these smaller kind of micro round decisions and hero plays from YFP to bring it above that. And I really think Mesos, they did such a good job. And honestly, for me, that map should have gone their way. Should it have gone the way that it was supposed to? But I mean, YFP mechanically just insane.
It's just hard because you have it, you're about to close it out for Mesos. This is your map pick as well.
Yeah.
It seems like it was going to happen, and then all the chances that you have is a YFP that is hungrier than ever to get them, and that's how it ends up playing out. One of those rounds, baby, was that round 17 where there was a chance, but that retake on the side of YFP was too good.
Yeah, and a lot of the entries from Bunny Bee specifically were insane, right? Like, the pathing that was chosen in a lot of these rounds was almost always on par. I mean, but this time around, being taken out, and it just wasn't enough. You know, when the flood comes out of heaven, there's just so much you can do.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the rounds that actually started for YFP to fully understand their playstyle and how they should be playing against Mesos, because they started playing a lot more retake on the B side as well as the A side. As soon as they set up that cipher somewhere, it was so easy for them to end up retaking, coming back into the site, and that's how they found a lot of their success, which they weren't getting early on. They were losing a lot of these rounds because of the aggression from Mesos, and they just didn't know what to do about it. But they adapted, it worked out well, and I think that round was definitely the turning point.
Yeah, I mean, that's you're 100% correct. And it's because of Bunny Bee's entries from the start of the half. I mean, even pistol round, getting, the Omen Flash Paranoia with the updraft, dodging every trip. Like, I feel like Bunny Bee didn't get hit by many trips at all this game. And I think that was the deciding factor of why, YFP was like, all right, let's just play retake, because Bunny Bee is just killing like 2-3 players at a time. And as long as we don't let her get these entries, we actually have a chance into the round, because some of those rounds weren't even close.
Bunny Bee has always been insane. Has always been. I feel like I say every Game Changer is one of my favorite players to watch just because of how insane she is. She's running it down. She's going to secure at least 1-2 kills before she dies in a lot of those rounds. But it's going to take a lot. Now, let's jump into the maps, because your second map is going to be Haven. And I know that you two have competed in the past. You two have competed for Valorant. But I want to ask you, Athena, first. If you're on the side of Mesos, you lose your map pick in the way that you did, how do you make sure that you're reset for this map of Haven?
I mean, the good thing that Mesos has on their side is that they know that they did a lot of things correctly. exactly. At the end of the day, the things that it came down to were either whiffs or just a hero play coming from YFP. So it's really easy to kind of have that mindset where, listen guys, like, it's okay because we did everything right. If we just continue doing the protocols that we know, kind of having those really good setups, those slow defaults where we really work the map, we can win, we can outplay. We just got a little bit unlucky. It is what it is. And I feel like that's definitely the mindset they have to have, or else they're just gonna kind of let that last map eat at them, because again, I really think they should have won that one.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Baby, do you agree with this? Is there something else that you would add, and something else specifically to this map of Haven that both of the teams need to pay attention to?
I was so surprised with how MESO just came in from a strategic approach on the first map of Abyss. So although both these teams have faced off before on Haven, I don't think that's going to matter at all, because clearly you see that MESOs with the coaching staff and also the IG Love Animal have come with game plans that counter YFP actively. So, I mean, I feel like the ball is in their court. Now, if they don't let that last map break them, this could be a really good moment to show what you're made of and actually show that we can compete with the best of the best, right?
Mm-hmm. Bunny B.
We've had the chances to see. Yeah, that's just how it works sometimes. Yeah. Honestly, that's how it works a lot of the times for teams. And hey, whatever works, it has to feel good, because you want to push it to a third map no matter what. If you're in this side of Mesos, it is frustrating for sure, I think, on the side of the players. But yeah, the reset is going to be everything, because this is a map that is very doable for both of the teams. And because you guys were talking so much about the big three, but now we realize is a Mesos that can take down YFP. This is a very, very strong possibility at the end.
Yeah, so one thing we did mention earlier is that Mesos did play YFP on Haven. This was somewhat recently in the NRG Neon Dream, and they did lose out, but it was a BO1. They didn't have that first warm-up game where they really proved themselves against YFP. And from when I was a part of that game, when I was watching it, I saw that Mesos had the right game plan a lot of the time, which kind of feels like just a rerun of what just happened on Abyss, where they had a lot of the right game plan. They had the right idea. A lot of their reactions were just super solid, especially with the animal lurking that you mentioned as well, Baby Bay. But it just came down to, again, a lot of those little small mistakes, some mechanical difficulty that they had. But they literally just proved themselves against YFP just now, so I feel like they shouldn't have this same problem. And I already saw that they were a lot more polished as a team on that Abyss map. So for me, I think Haven is one of the playgrounds that Mesos can definitely work. Their slow defaults play in really well into that. Their general playstyle does. But again, this is one of the big three. It is YFP, and they've been known to be demons. Doesn't matter what map, who it is, or where, they've always shown up.
It's something that is absolutely needed for YFP to continue their dominance against these teams that are at the very top, and especially because you're looking at the bigger goal, and it's not only winning against Mesos, but making it through the upper bracket, making it to that international in Berlin. And yes, a lot of the times you're taking it step by step, but you also know that it's very much in your hands to guarantee if your whole team is going to make it to Berlin, is going to be flying out. So it's just a lot of pressure to deal with, but that is the goal that you have at the end of the day, baby.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Everyone here is playing for that spot, hoping that they actually make it the easy way through to that upper final, right? Even though there's no real easy path, you know, you're going to have to go up against either FlyQuest, or you would think you'd have to go up against FlyQuest or Shopify, no matter what. And
yeah.
I mean, even if you win this, like, yeah, you're going up against Shopify. What are you going to do? It just feels so bad. You want to try to win it as cleanly as possible to not show a lot of footage, because you know that there's teams watching you, especially teams that you're going to have to go up against of Shopify. They're watching this game, I guarantee it.
Especially the big three, that's for sure. If somebody's watching, is the big three. It seems like there's a tech history though, so we're going to throw it to a break. We're going to keep talking about the big three. You guys don't know, but we get paid every time that we say that. That's not true. So we're going to throw it to a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It seems like the tech issues have been solved. We should be diving into the second map of the second series of the day very, very soon. And we were talking a little bit about what's on stake. We talked about, wanting to make it to the international stage, but also wanting to get this win. And a YFP, they're ahead by one map, but it was very close. So I feel like, as we were discussing, Athena, this could go either way for this map of Haven.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Haven, everyone has been playing this map for so long that a lot of the metas and the protocols and the defaults have already been established. And both these teams, they just prove to us that they are phenomenal with a lot of their defaults, a lot of their executes. Each team can kind of be that aggressive team that they need to be or fully understand how to play passive. So this will definitely come down to a lot of those hero plays and mid-round calling from both teams.
One thing to call out as well is that MESOs, you guys were mentioning that these two teams played Haven before in a best of one, but MESOs were playing that Neon, so we've seen changes already today, and that is something that we can always expect for game changers. When we start to see the teams playing the main event, a lot of the compositions are going to look like very different compared to what we saw before. So baby, we get to jump into the agent select now. Give me your thoughts as we find out very
Give us your thoughts on C Long.
I recently saw some videos of Prod 1v1ing somebody C Long. I forgot, like a fan or viewer. So like I have a lot of thoughts about aim duels happening at C Long, but
you have that in your head. Yeah.
That's
It's fresh.
That's about it. Honestly, I feel like for YFP on this map, they're gonna come in feeling way more confident after them basically heroically closing out that first one, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like this for them could be a good moment and a big, kind of a devil that's flown off of their shoulder. Considering the fact that they dodged.
Is that a saying?
I don't know. Usually it's devil on your shoulder, but they got rid of it. So,
oh, okay.
I see. Making some stuff up, but but yeah, I think when a team has a close call like that and they're the one that prevails, especially like when on paper you should be the better team, I feel like that's when the real version of yourself truly shows. So I would be expecting YFP to come into this looking very strong. But at the same time, I mean, if the game plan and approach is anything like it was on the first map for Mesos, it could be, it's kind of a disaster for YFP if they don't adapt fast enough. I think that's something that they really struggled with on that Abyss map, was the adaptations. I feel like specifically around mid on Abyss, that's where Animal was having like a lot of the great mid-rounding calls and the lurk timings that we were speaking of. And if something happens like that on this map, whether that's on A side or maybe it is C Long, who knows?
Not this again.
That could be kind of scary, but it looks like there's not going to be any changes for YFP this time around.
Yeah, I really like the Neon. I love seeing the fast-paced kind of fighting towards that A long, trying to get that deep control all the way towards A lobby, as well as kind of the fast plays that they do towards mid. YFP have shown us that they can play super aggressive and be really proactive with what they want to do, both on defense and attack. I mean, you talked a little bit about hero plays, and we saw Marceline at the end of that Abyss game just going absolutely crazy, as well as Melia just trying to keep them into it, and ultimately that is what won them the game. So both these teams looking really great. I talked a little bit about Scary Shark as well earlier on the initiator role, and how for them they actually fully understand what it's like to be a duelist and how to set up a duelist. So that's going to be really good to watch. But Mesos, I mean, I'm genuinely blown away at how well they played and how much work they did, because they were so much more polished than the Mesos I remember watching just like a month ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it looks insane, and their protocols have been really good, really standard, really strict, and everyone kind of moves as a unit and understands fully what they want to do. So this can definitely go both ways. I'm just really excited for the Neon pick.
Yeah, I definitely. And I actually, it was my mistake when I said nothing's changing. I thought that was the Neon for the side of Mesos.
The other way around.
But they actually flipped compositions.
Yes.
So the first time around, it was Mesos on the Neon, and it was YFP on the Jet. But they have fully swapped. So this is like actually kind of.
It looked the same, but it's very
Yeah.
different. They
I was like, wait a
changed
second.
compositions to.
That's not correct.
So the one that was prepping for the Neon is now going to play against the Jet, and the ones that was prepping for the Jet now is playing against the Neon. Things are changing, but that means that this map should be very exciting, especially because it's a map of Haven. Let's find out how it plays out with your casters, is Lemon, Kiwi, and Vance.
Thank you so much. And something about, we gotta say big three? Big three? Big three? Okay.
Big three, big three.
I see the numbers going up, but oh, this one's gonna be a good one, folks. 14-12 ended the first map on Abyss. Overtime for YFP. When they were at a deficit, they came back, and this is their playground. This is their choice of map of Haven.
So as I'm getting paid, I think I'm only getting paid in Mesos as well, so I don't think that's a lot. But yeah, my brain did kind of blow up a bit too when I was looking at these compositions to see that YFP is playing this Neon this time around. But I'm not against what Mesos is pulling on as well, because Bunny B is probably more comfortable playing a Jet, and there's going to be a lot of role changes for Mesos Millionaires as well. So you're just kind of playing into what you're comfortable with overall. BT having that experience as a Silva, but YFP are playing fairly similar to how they did this pistol run in the past. A lot of focus on this breach towards the back of B, so they can fault line left and right. And now instead of a Jet, it's a Neon that could fast rotate across. So the approach is still the same, and the first blood is still the same.
Man, you just have a molly from a breach that's slowing down Mesos. You're going through the back window, and that initial Aldrin from Habibi was just going through it. But man, Scary Shark going through a lot. All they see is darkness, and we're left with a 2v1 as Elaborate. Solo Cypher, that's all they played, the Master of One. Now how they're gonna wrap around this, not wanting to cross in front of B, but probably hearing those footsteps. Starlight is gonna adjust to support Habibti here. Maybe salvage this round. Elaborate with the 1-2 punch. Nope, flick in the nose. Did not close out on any of those.
There was an opportunity there, a slight window where Elaborate could maybe connect those shots and somehow clutch a 1 versus 2. But as you mentioned, the rotate across that was heard. I gotta say, at least when you're looking at the same setup that you have from YFP, this is also recency bias, right? As you're a team that has to prep against your opponents, but they're still playing the exact same way. You know that last time that you tried to work towards the C site, you got shut down and slowed down. So Mesos Millionaires this time around are trying to work towards the garage, back towards B, and it caught so many players off guard on YFP on a rotate because it gave so much of a gap the last time they did play this map on the Neon, or the RNG Invitational, Energy Invitational rather, Neon Dreams. And that said, Mesos Millionaires is able to capitalize on the pistol round and potentially run away here with their attack side with how YFP are playing fairly similarly. No way!
Oh my god!
No way
A knife to the throat! What? And Mel gets away with another! Just a bit of judge action. And Meso also used the shock bolt to clear out the corner, so they thought they were safe to walk in with all the smokes they had so close. Mesos with back-to-back pistols. 3v3 though. Oh. Animal on the prowl. Prey in sight. And finishes off what they started. Scary Shark 1v3, and okay, let that gun sing. And who else want the sauce? Well, Scary Shark probably it's gonna be too hard to retake with this weapon in particular. I think Animal and Starlight are gonna push this together. 1-2 swing. Even with the early shots, I mean, Scary Shark gets that one for free just off the info of the sound. We'll just be taken out by the spike.
Yeah, definitely. That's a lot of big question marks here in this post plan for Mesos Millionaires, because they did a great job stopping the bleeding in this hero play that Melia just did with this knife onto Bunny B right over here. Some damage being done. I mean, that's still beautiful reads coming through, but to get 2 kills, you ran away with murder pretty much at that point. And then that just happened. You're getting so many picks coming through in the rotate back from Animal, and then Scary Shark are running into them one by one, where, you know, Scary Shark's going to be as good as the Classic with the Marshall, because it's kind of like the Guardian, where they've been so good with that weapon in the past. If you've witnessed game changers and seen Scary Shark play in the past with that. So you're looking at the bonus round from Mesos Millionaires in this round number 3. You get 3 shares and 2 Vandals, and this is an opportunity for YFP to really close that gap in terms of the economy value that they could bring here if they could close out the next 2 rounds.
Even like a third player I think I saw from Mesos were thinking about forcing and buying a Vandal, but
yeah,
just gonna stick to what they got. Stick to their guns, literally. Fault line, Scary Shark. really trying to toss up Mesos on the other side, bringing out all the util. You're pretty satisfied despite Mesos not getting any map control off of this. YFP holding a line. Marceline with 3. It was just the firing range for her. I got a little too quick with it though. As Animal gets the punish.
Destroyed.
I mean, we're still gifting one-on-ones this time around here for MESO's Millionaires, but again, it's the 3 players that only had pistols to work with, so that's not too bad. You still have an opportunity to keep the economy quite low against YFP. These last 2 players, Animal and Starlight, who've been quite good in the first map, do some damage here in this second map, but they're walking straight into a top B potential judge. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. That's a death there. And again, we've mentioned how this is going to be good here for YFP because they've only lost 1 player in the process. So the rebuy is going to be only on 1 player. So that keeps the economy quite up here against MESO's Millionaires, who now are at the bottom of the barrel of their economy system. They can't really afford an off on the attack side like they've been trying to do here on at least their Cypher on the previous map. But this time around, it's looking pretty good here for YFP on the defensive side.
Yeah, I'm not stoked about just the staggered peek against Marceline there.
Yeah.
The jiggle peek, you know. Oh, the flash! I mean, YFP know that Mesos pushed this mid-courtyard. Last time it was a fault line, now it's just a flash. Jeez. Talk about read like a book.
And that's because the alarm bot, or let's talk about it a bit. There was an aggressive push here by Marceline that just got punished, and that might be a turning point in the round for MESO's Millionaires because of that punish. Now you have an opportunity right here. It's still peeking 1 by 1, so now it's YFP gifting it back here to MESO's Millionaires, and it's back to a 3-on-3. You're trying to break util if you can, but thankfully the camera's still up on the B site, so they still have an opportunity to fight and play for info, especially after that ult that came through from Melia that spotted players on top and middle, so you could now try to pinch back and lean back into a mid retake.
Oh, the camera's gonna see this coming though.
Exactly.
Get a ping. Oh, they're gonna deal with that quickly, but at least you know the commitment is there. Mesos already flashed their way in. They still got a fault line.
Spike planted.
And
Fights.
yeah. Oh geez, Mel on the other side of the smoke. She's gonna push this despite all the trouble on the other side. Mel going for the ace, and she gets it! YFP steal a way around.
iBuyPower ace there for Melia that just powers through the first 2 kills through the garage door, and those were quick shots. Melia definitely popping off here in that round, but not until there was at least some great utility to support from Scary Shark in the last 2, in the first 2 kills, and the 3rd and 4th actually. You saw the flash that came through the support on the first 2 kills, then the fault line to stun 2 players right there to allow here Melia to get these picks. That was great synergy from both here. The value that this breach comes into the roster for YFP and why it's currently being used by the ex-Solstice roster here on this map. So a great job here for YFP to now break the economy, and MESO's Millionaires are going to have to try to work with a Marshall for long-range picks. I mean, it's a great combination. You have a Marshall with some shares to potentially fight back against jump peaks on the long C side, which we just tried to do there for Elaborate. And I don't think they're going to decide to do that a second time. They're going to think twice before they do that.
Good adaptations from Mesos, like, well, minus, you know, getting double killed by the flash from the breach in mid. At least they didn't let Marceline piece them up at A long. And this is following the exact same script of Abyss, of Mesos winning pistol, anti-eco, fumbling their bonus, and then YFP get back in the driver's seat. And I think that's exactly why you run a Neon. If you're YFP, you're very confident in your mechanics, higher skill ceiling there. Flashed up, though, in Garage. Meso's going to take a step back. And not a lot of map control for Mesos to work with, as they are trying to work down A main. Needing to worry about Marceline. You just never know if she's posted up there again. But now Mesos get some work going.
Yeah, you definitely have seen a little bit of a drop from a jet being utilized on this map, right? Neon's starting to show a little bit more. If you're Fnatic, you're pulling out an ISO and some Yoru plays too for fast rotates across. And now it just allows for you to really work the map into your favor to have these fast rotates available. And around the utility you have to stall is still quite good. Thankfully, at least now for MESO's Millionaires, they could, especially with that kill, they would be able to get a plant and make it somewhat salvageable and winnable here, because that's 2 weapons now picked up on the post plant. And Rolling Thunder off the plant.
Mesos, yeah, we're able to trade that off of a pistol and an outlaw. Like, okay. now
taken.
Meso's on the post plan, trying to cover ground, elaborate, helps YFP break in. Now with the woman advantage, Bunny B gets discovered in hell. And now the smoke does split the site in half. Slandy has to choose her battles well, but gets overwhelmed by two, and YFP continue their streak.
And that's where it's unfortunately a little bit of a misplay in the post plan. MESO's Millionaires had everything in their hand to be able to fight here on their side on that post plant because of that plant that had the Rolling Thunder available, but you can't really utilize it against the flood attempt retake from the defensive side because both of your players are playing towards graffiti and towards health. So where can you really move your Rolling Thunder without hitting your teammates? So everybody's isolated in individual moments where Slandy was probably caught with util in their hands, just waiting for the right moment to try to assist those other two players. And that's where it kind of just falls behind, unfortunately. And that stops bleeding here for YFP to get ecoed. They have an opportunity now to keep the economy quite up. But at least here for MESO's Millionaires, they have 4 ults on their side, trying to push down with a trap play down towards Llama C. But at least map control is there.
From the shadows, discovered an opening pick too. Over at the A side, or yeah.
Yep.
Now Marceline trying to take over the C side. Rolling Thunder is just gonna absolutely stomp down YFP's defenses. At least there's some trades coming out of Corrupt before they stabilize back in their spawn. And Mesos are left with just crumbs. It's just to get any kind of offense going, and they still haven't even planted.
Yeah, because of how separated they are here between Animal and Starlight, Animal can't really plant. So it's just staying put, making sure that they could potentially punish anybody walking back into the A site, while Starlight is trying to get that lurk play. So with this lockdown, you're at least forcing players outside from heaven, where you see Starlight's kind of like watching it, and once they realize it's clear, I don't like the overcommitment towards the spawn though, and thankfully with the timing, she's able to fall back, and now they can play a 2 versus 3 in the pulse plant. Oh, until I say that though. Until I say that. Oh my, unlucky.
Yep.
My bad, chat. My bad.
And Starlight also got tagged. Now you're just going for a surprise play, and thankfully the Aldrin went away quite quick and Corrupt was able to help. But YFP, they're on a roll.
And another, unfortunately, a fumble here in the mid-round for Mrs. Millionaires. Again, it was really good for Animal to stay towards that graffiti so that she doesn't give her position away, giving a chance here for Starlight to get a backstep or to meet up with her teammates. Again, I didn't really like the overcommit back towards the spawn, but at least with the radius of that lockdown, it pushed the players back towards the spawn where you can meet up. But unfortunately, getting tagged from the Hunter's Fury, you're not giving yourself too many chances here to survive in a situation of the pulse front. You're already a player down. So you're trying it again, since you haven't seen it the first time down towards long scene. It works out. It pays off dividends for YFP. They get first blood. They flash to allow Marceline to fall back. And I'm not against that, right? The first time that they did it, there was maybe just an omen that heard it around for Melia that TP towards the A site. This time, especially against the lower buy, you're able to punish and get a first blood out of it.
I feel like Neon suits Marceline a lot better. Thinking about what she wanted to do on Abyss, which he would like dash down mid and have no route of escape. And now Marceline able to race back. It looks she's at it again. All of YFP collapsing on Mesos, and Animal just has a sheriff and a dream, I guess. At least I thought maybe she could get the catch on Corrupt mid-dart throw, but a flawless victory for YFP. You're starting to raise a lot of red flags if you're Mesos. Wondering if this would be a moment to use a timeout. I think only YFP have used the timeout all series, I want to say.
Yeah, you're right. I even think we haven't even seen one at all in the first map, actually. Unless we were rambling for some odd reason and never really noticed it.
YFP took one?
Yeah, maybe. If
Coach
not,
Mesos.
Exactly. Coach Lemon Kiwi for Mesos Millionaires. But this is definitely going to be a call coming out here from Rice Ballin, actually, who's been coaching this GC roster for quite a long time. And you know, I would be against it. Rice Ballin, now known as Eric, has been he's now a collegiate player, finishing his master's degree over to Aspire and Swarm. So, and he's also been doing quite a lot with Animal in the past. So there's definitely that synergy there. There's a lot of respect given to Eric so far. And this call right here for them to realize what they could do with this is probably going to be a conversation like, look, we've literally ran this comp last time against YFP, where we played with our own Neon. So we should know what values YFP could cook up here and what they could try to do with the Neon in the composition, with how aggressive YFP has been with the outside pistol round that was eventually read by Mesos Millionaires. But now it's to see how can you punish here Marceline's over aggression. They've done a great job I think I like to say like that third round where Animal was playing a little bit further back, letting the players in the overconfidence of YFP come towards her where she punished. So there's potentially that opportunity right there for MESO's Millionaires to play outside of the trap plays and try to fight back in that moment.
Yeah, because MESO's Millionaires have really only been dropping rounds due to just walking into the traps that YFP have already set up defensively. Talked about Marceline's role at C long, even just playing A main. Like, Marceline's all over the place, and where you insert Animal is going to be quite important. Now, the first try at C, and being able to catch Marceline, a big adaptation from MESO's. But now sensing a breach on the other side. That's one fault line gone, and a whole breach gone as well. MESO's off to a good start.
Yeah, it was the aftershock here that pushed out Melia, but that allowed here two players to swing out. And then you see the overconfidence that was mentioned before. Marceline's out in the open trying to fight against the triple peak, and they get picked off. And then you're not giving too many chances here for C Anchor to really hold in the area. You're forcing now Scary Shark to play the hero and re-peek back into a fight.
I was gonna see, did Animal not want to go and look after the? Oh yeah,
yes,
shot in the back. Oh, that's so free. Ooh, pings through the cage. Elaborate, maybe. Should have shot earlier. I don't know. It's like whether you wanted to reveal your position or not. Could you take the 1v2? And any hesitation like that is gonna cost them. Which surprising to see that out of a team like YFP and a person like Elaborate, who I thought was stellar on Abyss. But after this timeout, MESOs have found their footing, have maybe shaken off some of the nerves after maybe a frustrating map loss initially.
It was definitely a moment where Elaborate had the ping of like 3 players down towards Long C, and you have a sensory overload to be like, oh crap, which one do I want to focus on as I have a split second before I can start spraying my Odin. And especially after that ping, you know they're going to try to reposition within that second. And I feel like they were about to shoot, and then, well, MESO's Millionaires did the same thing. They just answered back through the cage because they knew at least that Elaborate committed down towards Long C to throw that at. So a great punishment to fight back here for MESO's Millionaires after this timeout called by Riceball in the first place, by Eric rather, as he changed his alias. But that said, this is just one of those plays after the timeout to say, okay, well, maybe for YFP we can't play as overconfident as we can, because it wasn't really too much of like a synergy play. It was more like, let's try to peek out one by one and try to win our duels, but you're playing against 3 players, so now you're going to play a little bit more, not necessarily scared, but at least try to leverage more utility around that. And you can already see the setup. YFP is looking to potentially just answer back with a fault line to answer back into Marceline's op down towards sewers. And then the rest here for MESO's Millionaires is just the same thing. It worked the first time, why not try it again? Focus on the C side, TP across, try to force his swings out, and they do!
Okay, just they jiggle peeked, saw nothing, and finally took a firm step forward. And you lose your Jet, and that's such an important person too. Bunny B has been that playmaker for MESOs. And Marceline, you're gonna make that same mistake twice of pushing down C long. She's not even gonna overextend at all. Well, at least she'll be in sewers with the op that she desperately wanted at the start of the round. So she'll insert herself into a new spot and see now that MESOs are gonna shift over. Will that help YFP weaken MESOs even more? But MESOs are not even going to go A. So for YFP to have sightlines on C and A, not see anyone, there's only one place MESOs could be. And the Sonic gets thrown, detects them all mid.
Yeah, this is a great position so far by YFP. After that first blood, they already have control towards the A side. They could stack up towards C where the camera could be the support. Now that it gets broken up, you're seeing a util coming through. They have a Rolling Thunder and a fault line to support on that end from the A link. I mean, everything's in play right now for YFP to just anchor the C site.
Oh, man. The aftershocks from Slandy are something else. Even from Scary Shark, too. MESOs were just getting crunched in garage. Things are still not going well. You just can't get to a site without YFP being there to handle you. 6-3. This is YFP's choice of map. They came prepared. They have a game plan, and they're executing it.
Yeah, I mean, again, for MESO's Millionaires, they did try it again this time around, and it kind of worked because they were still playing a 2 versus 3, right? A double swing this time from YFP instead of just having Marceline swing out behind Scary Shark's utility. It was actually both the Omen and the Cypher from Elaborate to come across here and to try to get these picks with Melia, and it worked out in their favor because Melia, I mean, has been popping off on the defensive side so far for YFP on the defense. But that said, outside of that, there's not enough from MESO's Millionaires to try to force rotates or to break util with the position that you currently have. they could just play comfortably here for YFP at that point when you're winning these duels. They'll try it. Third time's a charm, but this time it seems like they almost want to try to sell a fake here towards the C site where the others are still anchoring like an aggressive push towards A. But the spike is also towards C, so there's, this fake, I don't know if it's going to be working too well here for the C site for MESO's Millionaires, but...
Not again. Not again!
Yeah,
the first blood. Got walls up just to make it look like you crossed, but you didn't! Marceline, this is her lane. You're getting pulled into the line of fire. It's a deadly hand for YFP. Now you got the Hunters. Area BP is so done, and honestly, I thought Marceline was gonna leave. Sometimes she gets really hungry to get a montage going. This is an opening for MESOs, but Rolling Thunder hits them in the face. And again, every time MESOs even think about a site, YFP are all there to trap them.
I mean, Starlight just also TP'd in front of two faces right there, where she couldn't really get map control towards A. And I was going to say, yes, it looked like Marceline was very hungry for these kills, but, I mean, even if they died, that's still a great job. They burnt out a fault line, from Slaney and a Hunter's Fury from Habibti just to take control of A long. How much utility do you have left for MESO's Millionaires to actually hit the A site rafter? Literally almost nothing outside of maybe one more flash, maybe that was available for Slaney, with already 3 more players inside the site because of the delay that was being pulled out here by Marceline. She's done her job. That was a great hold towards the end there by YFP. And now, which again was a great start for MESO's Millionaires, and again, since the timeout that looked like they had an answer, it's back for YFP in the driver's seat again.
Oh, well, if you got an SMG and a pistol, I guess you may want to scrap through B, but YFP, look, you're thinking about B, they're thinking about killing you, and oh my god, a BP is flashing. Whoa! The fumble from Mel, I was not expecting that. Yeah, the biggest of size. But the damage is done, I guess.
And that was a team flash too, but at least Elaborate could be here, avoids the fault line. That's 1, 2, nope, just 1.
Ooh, well, MESO's made the most. The vibes were not there originally. MESO's proved me wrong. So you know what? Aura. The MESOs are I'm teaching you words too, and teaching YFP how an offense is done. Marceline is still alive though, and that's when you gotta worry, but I don't even know why I said her name when Corrupt got 3, so.
I was actually aging watching these fights happen with all these whiffs, and then thankfully you pulled back the years by saying the word aura, and I'm back to my regular age here to look back and be like, okay, this is cool. Everything came back to normal. Corrupt gets a nice 3K, who also stepped up to the plate from the first map too. I mentioned before when I was mentioning the latest edition of Corrupt on the first map, they weren't looking too hot here on Silver Roll and Abyss. Belize going into this map now has proven to use great utility here on this Silva on the defensive side, and also adding fragging capabilities on top of that. And when you see Corrupt, the latest edition, put numbers behind everybody else who's been, again, pristine throughout the whole Game Changers here, you know this is going to be a scary lineup now, and why they're considered that top 3 that the analyst desk was talking about. That's $5 for me, right?
Yeah. Starlight, though, how much does she get paid to be up here? It's from the shadow.
Not too much, that's why she's leaving.
Oh, she is dipping. Oh my god. How is she still alive? I'm pretty sure Bunny B got pinged, but they're gonna hold the line. There's 3 above them though. It's gonna be a pain sandwich, and MESOs are already posing down the high ground, so YFP are not gonna be surprising them for too long. But surely Bunny B hears what's up here. And they're just trying to, play their lives, play out of sight, play out of mind. Maybe they'll forget the spike is planted. But for YFP, they're in an 8-3 lead. It's just a matter of time. They start to flood in. MESOs hold the wall. Starlight is done sitting back and watching, and you just got a Odin to worry about. Maybe MESOs have this going after all. Mel in a 1v4, and MESOs, they're not out yet. 8-4 half.
Yeah, great utility towards the end for MESO's Millionaires, so they really brought it back, as you just mentioned. The last 2, I mean, I was keeping a great focus here on Scary Shark into Melia to see what they had, onto what they had on the post plant. coming through, which was a flash and a paranoia, and they cycled that quite well to make sure that they had another smoke there on the top of heaven for Starlight and Slandy, rather, just to talk about those two players that had those flashes on the pulse pad for MESO's Millionaires. And that was very well done. It allowed another smoke to come through and not really give a chance for YFP to flip back into the site. So very, very nicely done. You're stopping the hemorrhaging as well to give yourself a chance here to fight back in the second half, but you are playing the defensive side. Mentioned where, you know, it's not always out of the fire here when you're playing in so far behind, but that's usually when you're playing on the attack on the defensive side, because it should be easier on the attack because it's a three-sided map. But now it's YFP at 8-4 lead on the pistol round, now on the attack as well. That could potentially close out the series.
So YFP never even let them get close to the site without having to fight for it. Think about like the C long pushes, the A forward pushes, and Marceline owning that role well. Usually she's a jet on this map.
Yeah.
And she is playing like the most confident Neon we've seen. So now it's the ball is in YFP's court of how they execute the plan. Aces don't have to worry about that as much. They just have to hold the site. Now going around the drone. Okay, no one's in any funny corners. You got no sights on the high ground, but it's smoked off, so there's a window for YFP to work with. Some sounds being made as Animal to roar right back at them. But she is stuck up here, and there are reinforcements from MESOs on the immediate retake as soon as the spike was planted, and YFP off the corner just strike at MESOs as they were on the retreat. Only a one-woman advantage, though, for the post plant.
And not too much to retake, only 2 ghosts as well. This is going to be so difficult here for Habibti and Slandy to get anything done. They're just going to fall through. I mean, just walking into the slaughter. At least Habibti gets 1 for her troubles, but I don't think there's any more that's going to happen out of this.
Usually MESOs have won like every pistol, but this is just a YFP map that is one of their strongest in their pool that MESOs haven't been able to really crack down on YFP's plan, let alone slow them down. I mean, they tried to trade, but as soon as they were on the retreat, YFP just put salt to the wound. Look at these swings. I want to say there was even a cypher trip that might have pinged somebody on MESO, so just even more of an edge on YFP.
To look at the buy that Animal had, right? She went for a Sheriff and just a turret, which is something that's common that you see these days as well as a cage on the pistol round, but on maps like Ascent or something like that, because the turret could ping people and you hide behind a lot of obstacles, for example, on Ascent, which you can't do on A-side Heaven because you can really only hide behind default boxes. So you can't afford to get flooded by utility. You have to give up the site. But you're playing a KJ, so you can't really go for trap kills or cameras on a retake. So it doesn't really give you a chance here to play that strong retake on that A side. But MESOs did try to gamble to work down towards middle instead on that pistol. And this time, gambling on an eco to work down towards C, where both of these times, unfortunately, they're not going to meet any opposition, and breaking this trip is going to give their position away.
Like, who trips here? like MESOs are like, darn, like we thought we had the game plan, and this is about to get foiled. And looking down this lane is Corrupt. Like, they know something that we don't. Like, they just know exactly where MESOs are.
Yeah, I mean,
where the Sonic ended up. Oh, actually,
it's
all
going
the way
to side, yeah. Exactly. It's just a bounce for that side. They realize that it's open. And they know that now MESO's Millionaires are stacking somewhere on their eco is not the A site. And as they break the trip, you already see Elaborate ready for it. There's going to be 2 players fighting against them. Make that one.
At least MESOs have time here. BD. Oh. Elaborate in trouble. Mel. Close range. 1, 2. Almost 2 to loot to the 3rd. Oh my goodness. YFP. It's just like another day at the office. Just another 9 to 5.
Yeah.
MESOs, you're about to say goodnight to them in the upper bracket if they don't come up something soon, and I don't even think they have a timeout to have the time to talk about this.
Yeah, maybe 1 left, right? Because this is the only timeout that was used in the first half between these 2 teams so far, so there's one opportunity to work something there. But you're mentioning it was a trouble coming through from Elaborate. You just saw in this replay that she still ended up getting her last kill towards the end, which is fine. But overall, there's a little bit of a miscommunication between the breaches on both sides and her teammates. Because remember that hit that was a little bit crazy on that B side a little bit earlier on? It was a team flash that came through there from Slandy onto the entry of Bunny B in the first place when they were playing the attack side. But nonetheless, you mentioned the scoreline that's a lot heavier on the side of YFP to close out the series. And Corrupt staying with only a pistol in the bonus round so they could have full kit to support the team, and it's to use an Alidron to sell a fake here towards this garage, which is not even needed. Bunnyb trying to push out towards the A side, gets punished there by Elaborate with the Guardian. That opens up the site towards A. Corrupt's just going to do their job. They're going to keep everybody at bay towards the C site. And then that's A site for grabs.
You can appreciate MESO's efforts to be creative, to just take big risks. Like the C-long push that they had that got foiled, to now Bunnyb pushing sewers, not getting anything done. It is only a 4v4. It's not over yet. And here's the retake from MESO's already in heaven at the backside. It is a one-way smoke for YFP and sightlines. And okay, Slaney got flashed on her way down. Not ideal to take a fight against someone in hell, especially when they were stacked there. Only one choke for Animal and Starlight to go, and they're on the retreat. Mel is on the hunt.
And you know you have so much time left before the spike goes out, so you can't pull out your knife and run away, because you should expect here that YFP, especially in this bonus round, that they want to continue to push forward and get rid of your weapons. So you run away here, knife in hand, Starlight gets caught, and they even line up on top of that trying to escape. I like the call at least. I was going to say you have to save your weapons at this point because it's such a heavy lead that YFP has, and this is going to be an eco round if you're going to lose all your weapons. You're seeing the results. Sheriff's, a Stinger, and small shields, and you can't even stack anymore because when you're stacking, it's not at the right place. You're hoping that you're able to do some sort of a trap, or at least delays, right? There's the recon dart with the fault line to delay so you can focus down towards the B site. Few players playing towards Bunnyb. Bunnyb is playing towards Bunny with Starlight in front of that B site. That's why that kind of caught me off guard there. But at least they have 4 positions there. But for the rest, where you're trying to stack somewhere else, there's still gaps here that YFP could take advantage of.
This is a good read initially from MESO's.
Yeah.
Just to be stacking B, just hoping to get that close range battle, but creeping up at C is the rest of YFP, along with Marceline having... I was kind of dropping bars there for a second. Hold on, but sorry.
I was going to drop a beat, but I don't think you want me dropping beats.
You know what? Someone's about to get beat here. I think it's the people with the guns. Corrupt. Gonna take care of the flank. Another good attempt at MESO's to be creative. You know you can't really fight this from front to back with just sheriffs. So you try to be cheeky. YFP just will not stagger. They will not falter. Now they're about to go to match point, series point with Slandy pinged out. She'll go 1 for 1. Every ult orb matters, but with 1 round possibly remaining, you might not even get to use any ults.
And despite MESO's Millionaires losing this round and overall here potentially the series, you can still see there's at least a progress in terms of how they're doing their setups, their protocols that you currently have. Because that's the beauty of the double initiator that you played here on your eco round. You used it both to try to find information towards the A side. You realize that there's nobody there. You still have a stronghold towards the B side. You have a turret trying to play like a one and done for Animal to swing with her sheriff inside the garage, and an alarm bot to allow for you to know that the hit's happening towards the C site and you can play the retake. So there is protocol, and where you gambled towards the stack, unfortunately, it wasn't going to be where YFP was heading towards to. So more power as well to YFP on how they're working that map to avoid here these heavy pressures that are being held by MESO's Millionaires and these lower buys that they have, from ecos to stingers to sheriff buys. So it's a great read from both IGLs, from protocols, and from reads. But this is going to be the last time out being utilized now by MESO's Millionaires, the only one that they have left potentially in this series. While YFP here, they have weapons. You're at 12 to 4 so far. You have so many ults that are good here to site take, to even play the post plant. This is going to be a very important timeout to be called by Eric so far, the coach.
Almost wanted it earlier. So it's like, okay, if this doesn't work out, plan B. This doesn't work out, break the glass, plan C. This doesn't work out, let's get pizza later and we'll just go to lower bracket. Like, it's like, this is your one chance. And if you're MESO's Millionaires, I mean, you did just bring on like 2 new players for GC3, and there's still a lot of building up that you need to do, clearly on maps that you're weaker at, like this one. There. And MESO's put in a lot of effort trying to go for flanks and to catch YFP lacking, but they have been anything but slacking. YFP are so good at these mid-round reads that you just really can't catch them not looking at a sightline that you're trying to push. Now with an owl drone, they're going to take their time. Step 1, get information. There's someone on top of the box. Marceline going to go right after it. zaps them away, but who expected Buddy to be on the left side? Well, Corrupt is going to put out that fire. Now Paranoia at the backside just in case anyone from MESO's just trying to reinforce. Now everyone from the defense is up to sight. You got a plant for YFP.
And there's a lurk as well from Elaborate to win that fight. This is GG.
Oh, Slandy. The GOAT from the first round, the anchor from the Abyss. Will only see the Abyss. 13-4 for YFP. Taking the 2-0 in our series after an intense overtime on Abyss to pure domination on Haven. A big congrats to YFPX. I hope you enjoy facing Shopify Rebellion next, though. That's going to be a fun match.
It's really not easy for any team that's moving throughout the bracket, right? If you're going from either end, it's a team playing against Shopify Rebellion. If you're on the other side, you're going to have to play against FlyQuest on the other end that had a great series overall, like a 13-4 and a 13-1 victory that they had in their own matchup earlier on tonight. So it is going to be a tough bracket, a tough series no matter what to make it to GCC. So you're hoping to battle it back and at least learn from something from your other opponents moving into the lower brackets. But this time around, this was a rematch that has been repeated here between YFP and their opponents here for MESO's Millionaires. But unfortunately here, there's no third time a charm for MESO's.
It'd be very doable for MESO's Millionaires to go up against Teddy Tactics in that lower bracket and what kind of run they could do from there. But just getting to the main, just see how much MESOs you can collect and how deep you can go from there. But hey, we got our semifinals sorted. FlyQuest versus Refrag, Shopify versus YFP. Fun little bracket we have. But this is the fun little desk we want to talk to. First, we're going to go to a break, and then we'll see what they think on the other side.
It's a 12-match win streak now for the side of YFP as they get the win against MESO's Millionaires. And it was towards the beginning, it seems like it was a possibility for things to get closer, but it was a YFP that we were looking dominant and A's going their way, full control of how this map of Haven was going to play out, baby, and that's what gives them this 2-0.
Yeah, I kind of set it up a little bit too. I was like, once you get that, devil off your shoulder.
Not this again.
I hate to go back to that again. But no, seriously, like once you get over that hump of like, okay, oof, that was a close one. Let's chill out. Let's play like we know we can. You have a way more confident team, and this is the YFP that is a part of the Big Three. This performance right here showed that.
For sure, they were looking super, super strong, and it felt like their confidence 100% was there. I actually fully agree with what you said. Maybe not the saying, but I fully agree with it feels like they just pushed past, and they were definitely more comfortable on the Haven as well, whereas the Abyss more felt like maybe that was just their warm-up game to warm up their comms, or they figured out where all the issues and all the small mistakes were, and they fixed that going into Haven. And I mean, first kills though is insane because this is 14 first kills for YFP.
I mean, every single one, pretty much. 14 to 3 first kills. It's already in its statement by itself, but I think we saw it across the game and how this map was playing out. It was full control by the side of YFP, and as you guys were mentioning it, you play the first map, it's kind of close, but that's not really you. You want to play like yourself, and that's what we got to see towards the end for YFP, a YFP that plays the way that we expect, that plays like one of the favorite teams to win this tournament, to make it to the top 3, top 2, baby. So it's what we need to see more of for this team.
Yeah, if you started off slow against a team of the caliber of Shopify, you're just going to lose. There's no chance. You want to catch Shopify off of them being slow on the first map. So YFP are going to need to come in with the same amount of, synergy and honestly, the aggression going into that next series, because if they don't do that and they start off slow like they did against MESO, on that Abyss map, it's not going to be nice playing from a deficit against a team like Shopify.
And something that we talked about towards the beginning and then going into this map of Haven was the compositional change for both of these teams. And it was a Marceline going on this Neon that we didn't see last time that they played each other on Haven. But it worked out very, very nicely, Athena.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've seen Marceline play Neon in a while. I think it's been at least 3 months, at least in an official match. And it was crazy. They really popped off. They used the operator. Their util usage with that stun was just insane. And of course, the mechanical skill that came with it was amazing. We saw that long A fight where Marceline was just sitting behind bricks, gets an operator shot, still survives and stays, uses the wall to fake the leaving, and gets another kill. Those are the types of plays that you only make when you're super confident and super comfortable. And Marceline really showed the dynamic that they had with that Neon and being able to utilize in so many different ways.
It's a dream to have a player like this just going in, performing to this level, and seeing it in an agent that we've never seen before, at least for this beginning of Game Changer. So it's great to see Marceline popping off on the Neon. I think we all want to see more of that because the Neon always makes the gameplay so fun. But now I want to highlight another player here, and is Melia, who baby not only got an ace, but did so good throughout today.
Yeah, oftentimes when you think about teams, you think about star duelist players, but what about the star controller player? And that's where you have Melia step in. And yeah, don't get me wrong, Marceline is a flashy player. The kills look fantastic, snappy, but really the consistent one across the board is Melia, the actual hard carry, so to speak. And honestly, a lot of it, including the ace, is because of the supporting cast, of the initiators too. So it's nice to see how this team can perform and who really steps up when everyone's on the same page and playing for one another. We saw tons of great flashes there from Crazy Shark or Nora, right? Whichever way you want to go about it. But
Crazy Shark is crazy.
Crazy Shark. But yeah, the flashes were crazy, actually. They set up so many different teammates very well. And honestly, it just so happened to be Melia being the star of the show in this series. It was just such a crazy performance. I mean, plus 30, 1.84 rating on Omen. That's just new.
I was literally just going to say that. The 340 ACS That is across 2 maps. Like, overall in this series, that was Melia's scoreline. They performed phenomenally. We were talking about how on Abyss we thought that the map was going to go towards Mesos, and Melia was one of those players to almost drop 30 kills to bring it back. So definitely huge props to Melia. Also, that ace was insane. You saw that a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
disgusting stuff. Like, actually, that was gross.
yeah, those are the kind of plays that you see because we have so much talent in Game Changers that it might not be part of those very well-known teams, but they still make it happen no matter what. So we definitely are going to continue to see a lot more of those as the days go by. But now it's time for the Verizon post-match interview, and this time around I'm going to be joined by Scary Shark. Scary Shark, congratulations on this win. You went 2-0, and the first question that I want to ask you is relating on how you got this 2-0. Towards the beginning, it was the Mesos that had the advantage, closing out that map of Abyss, but you make a comeback and you close it out. So how do you make sure that that map goes your way in overtime?
I mean, just testing each other, trying to like keep the energy up, not get tilted, keep problem solving, seeing what they're doing, seeing what they're not doing, and just going round by round, and just like staying together as a team, and just resetting your mental.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's keeping it simple, and you guys are winning this way over and over again in Game Changers and the qualifiers as well. And something that I want to ask you is, we mentioned it before on the desk, is we see a lot of compositional changes for Game Changers teams. So for you, you changed your composition in Haven. We started seeing more of that neon being played out. So what is the reasoning behind changing this composition, and can we expect more of those changes on other maps that we didn't see today?
To be honest, I forget, and we're playing Neon since Neon's just really strong in Overtune right now. You can just get a lot of value, and it's really easy to synergize over compared to the Jet.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Neon was popping off, looking insane, and your team is absolutely one of the favorites to make it far and determined in this top 8. So my last question that I have for you, and you said it a little bit before, is you're taking it step by step in a way, but you have Shopify Rebellion tomorrow, and that is not an easy match for anybody. So what are some of the things that the team is looking at to make sure that you win this match and you are able to make it past that?
Just try not to feel any pressure. Like, they're a really strong team just overall. So just like try not to feel pressured. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. Just like going in with like a really strong mentality. Strong, but just like playing the game, really. Trying to enjoy the moment.
Yeah, just doing the best that you can and pushing it, doing and playing your game, which is something that we've seen you do so well. So once again, Scary Shark, congratulations on this win. This is everything that we have for the Verizon post-match interview. And now we get to send it back, bring back the analyst desk, because we're going to close out the day. Today, in a way, I feel like, Athena, it went as expected when it came to those teams and those individuals popping off. But it was, especially that first match, a lot closer than we expected. And there's some good chances that we're going to continue to see that as we go into tomorrow and the day after and until the very end.
Yeah, I feel like the first game we saw today going to that 3 maps, we kind of knew it was going to go to the 3 maps, but we did not think it was going to be that back and forth and that close. It felt like every team kind of understood the assignment and knew how the other team played, and it was just who kind of came to the battle first and kind of understood how to adapt. But then that second game, that almost threw me off. I mean,
Seriously.
we were all super confident it was going to be a 2-0, right, Baby Bay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it was a 2-0, but it's the way that the first map happened. I mean, we expected the Abyss to 100% be a one-sided performance for the side of YFP, and what we saw was anything but that. That's how you know that, you know, teams are they're cooking, they're doing stuff, they're trying their absolute hardest to try to take out one of these teams from the top 3, and you know, maybe RF will be one of the first to do so in this tournament so far.
There's a couple chances here, and the teams that we saw losing today, they're not eliminated just yet, but they need to go on that lower bracket run to making it to the grand finals possible. But for tomorrow, this is when we start to see a little bit more of the back and forth between the favorite teams. The big 3, guys. The big 3 is going to be in the upper bracket, and is going to be Reform going against FlyQuest, and then is going to be YFP going against Shopify Rebellion. Baby, do you have any predictions? I want to ask any surprises, rather, for what can happen tomorrow.
I think FlyQuest is a team, and I think, Athena, you would agree with me on this, that could actually make a run all the way to the very end. I think they've just been getting better and better and better, and I think that they just have a lot of depth into how they can approach certain things, like certain maps and certain scenarios. Now, that being said, when you have Floor on your team, I mean, Floor is just, I mean, if Floor wakes up and just decides, yo, we're winning, it's done. You know, it's a wrap. You know, we're going to Berlin. So I think a lot of that type of matchup goes in that type of way. You know, it all depends. So, but I'm very excited for these matches tomorrow. I cannot wait to tune in and watch them. It's gonna be.
What do you think? What do you think, Athena? Do you also feel? I mean, maybe in the lower bracket, I'm looking at Umfis. I feel like there's a chance. I feel like MESO look. I feel like there's some possibilities here for one of those teams to make a little bit of a deeper run.
I think it's probably gonna end in like YFP versus Refrag again in that lower bracket. That's what I'm expecting. So
Okay.
obviously kind of agreeing with Baby Bay, we're seeing that Shopify and FlyQuest are gonna go through. So I don't think there is gonna be too many upsets, but based on the YFP that we saw today and the YFP that we originally were talking about, I feel like we did see some weaknesses that we haven't seen before, and the only way they could use that to their advantage, I guess, to beat Shopify is by genuinely working on them today. And I feel like that is going to be kind of the real big game changer, because exactly what Baby said, if Floor is on, like, it's over. Like, it's genuinely over. But again, if Melia is on, who
Any
knows?
of the players that we have right now, they can turn up.
Yeah.
Any of the players can be the difference makers, and to make sure they can take a map, they can take one of those bigger rounds, an ace. I mean, I feel like those are the things that you have to be expecting for tomorrow. This is everything that we have for today, though. It was an amazing day 1 of Game Changer Series 3, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.